Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin. We the Species. Chronologically, we're in the middle of April, I always I sometimes say this. There are interviews and there are interviews, but this is quite a special interview because I'm with Michaell Magrutsche, and Michaell spelled with two L's. That's important. He can tell you why. Michaell and I met because of the exigencies, great word, the exigencies of the universe. We met, and instant chemistry, and Michaell's out in Newport Beach. And a funny thing, I always like to look for synchronicities in the world. Michaell is loosely an artist, but way above that. He's a creativity awareness educator. He'll talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. His work is behind him, and I have some examples of his. The art is amazing. He's amazing. We've been Zooming and chatting and getting to know one another. Great synchronicity. How we view the world. We view the world because we're all human. And actually that's part of the title of my little series now that's 3.5 years old, Conversation with Calvin, We the Species. We're just one species, no matter how you slice it. We are what we are. And Michaell will talk to that. It's funny. I know now I know two people in Newport Beach, which one is Michaell, and the other is actually a home builder and designer whom I interviewed out of the Clear Blue Random Universe a year ago. And it turns out Michaell knows Julie Lawton. So what a small, interesting world. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be all over the place, from talking about plastics in the ocean to art, to Michaell's journey, to the fact that we are humans. This was my feeble attempt at a monologue. I'm trying to copy Johnny Carson. I never do really well when I try to copy Johnny Carson, who is a hero of mine. So, Michaell, thank you so much for being here. And I guess the best way is start a little bit about your journey that got you from Austria to Newport Beach. Take it away.
I was born in Vienna, in Austria, and not Australia, in Europe. And I was a sick child, and I went to school when I was 7, and I got the punch in the face the second time that I was extremely neurodiverse. A dyslexia with dysgraphia. Dysgraphia means I can't my brain with my hand, and it's funny that I'm an artist, right? The brain it doesn't work, but it's only abstract, so I can't really do portraits. I couldn't draw a portrait. That's why I've almost failed in art in the school, because I can't copy and I can't regurgitate. And so I understood math, but I couldn't regurgitate it. So my savior was arts creation, because I start with 4 or 5. I liked the motorcycle. I worked in whatever, and got $15. I bought an old Post motorcycle and take it apart and put it together and whatever. So the creation, the hands-on, the experience of thing was fabulous. And then when I got into more adolescent, I was drawn to music, like we all are, and it saved me, like so many, because I always ask the question: how many lives has music changed, or theater or thing, when we were adolescents, right? Because you think the thing, and then you hear a song and say, I can do it, yes, I loved music, and I became a DJ. And I sold tapes out of my trunk. I started to produce fashion shows, because first music, and then produce the fashion shows. I And I kept working in media, always media and stuff. And I wasn't conscious. I just survived. You know, when you're an adolescent, you want to survive. You're just all you do is surviving. And about 30, when I was 30, I applied for a new job and I had to do my CV new. I have to look at that up and check it out. And I had no, so my CV had to really be good because I had no education. I have only 8 years of school and 2 years I had to repeat. So imagine how fun that is when you're 12 years old and you have to be with 10-year-olds. So, and I'm still saying my specialty today, I'm selling myself to this is because I'm the specialist in education because I don't have one. So literally everywhere wants to talk to me because I am not system relevant. I can't fit into the system. I can't have an education, go to Harvard, go do this and can that. So when I was 30 and did that CV, I looked at it and said, amazing, I can't believe it. So I really got, it's like almost like somebody hit me over the head. I got like, oh my God, I'm an artist. But nobody said I was an artist. You know what I mean? So I had to say it. It wasn't like all of a sudden the Getty says, you know, come and have an exhibition. No, I wasn't system relevant an artist. But I saw that I couldn't have been an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, anything that is system relevant job, I couldn't do. And for 30 years, my survival was be creative, do advertising, be in marketing, be in the media started to become from film to video, and I was very involved in that, and that's and then I said, yeah, I'm an artist, and I think that choice that I made it, not that other people said, oh, you know, Calvin, you are a master of this, but you don't feel it. It's not resonating, but I felt it. And I think that choice that I felt, and I said, I don't care if people hate my art, I'm an artist. And whatever I do, I'm an artist. I can't do anything else. So what happened is that opened the whole thing that all of a sudden, so I was further in documentary making for arts and entertainment, Discovery Channel and all this stuff, which is not the arts and entertainment today, which is not PBS today, and this is what I always tell people. I said, don't tell people because you're 20 years ago you did something. What you can do now, and so I did all that stuff. From the experience, it was really great. And all of a sudden, somebody topped me. I was in Cannes at not the film festival, but there's music, the TV before. It's called MIP. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Are you Michaell Magrutsche?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "Here's my card. Can you call Robert Evans when you're back in LA, And first of all, I didn't know why the hell does he know that I'm going back and forth with him. And I didn't even think, that's why I'm saying there's no formula to success. It just happens or it doesn't. And and my friend said, "What, you don't know Robert Evans?" I didn't know. I loved The Godfather. I loved all the movies and stuff, but I didn't know. And so my friend said to me, "Oh, they're Evan Evans," and I still thought it was a joke. Somebody's playing a joke on me. So 2 months later, I'm back in LA, and I just flipped through the thing. I didn't place the card special, I have to call this person or whatever. I just flip the card. Let me just, for the hell of it, let's just check it out, yeah? And it says, "Hey, Robert Evans, residence. Here's Michaell Magrutsche. Robert sent me a guy in Cannes and hold on." Got right away with him. He talked to me. We talked, I think, an hour the first time we talked to each other. And then he invited me for dinner. And then he invited me to co-produce something with him. And then he invited me to stay in his house because he didn't want me to go from Newport to LA all the time. And then and we became really, really, really good friends.
I think you should let folks know, I'm a little bit of a film person. Robert Evans literally saved Paramount Studios.
Yeah, yeah.
He literally saved Paramount Studios along with The Godfather and other things that he was
Yeah.
involved in. So this is a major
Yeah.
presence.
It doesn't get better. It doesn't get
No,
better.
it
That
doesn't
time,
get
at that
better.
time, it didn't get better. He was 14 years the CEO of Paramount, the chief. I mean, amazing. So when that happened was, you know, when I grew up, I always wanted to be a film producer, because my belief of my perception of what a film producer is, because I love the movies, I love the arts, you know. So I thought, you can talk to the director, to the actor, you can work on the script, you can be involved in everything. And actually it turned out you can't. When I think there are some producers, there are, you know, but you're basically a beggar for money. You're basically a beggar for money, and you do continuously dissolve stress and conflict. That's all you do. So it's not a creative job. So I was out because it wasn't a creative. I'm not a money guy, you know. I don't understand money. You know, so that was good. So I had that, and that opened the whole thing up to become Arts Commissioner of Newport Beach. You know, 6 of 7 council members voted for me. And they didn't come right when I applied for it. I applied for it, and 3 years later that happened.
Wow.
And I didn't know, you know, and I said the 7th, well, why there's 6? Because a friend of mine called me and said, this hardly has happened that 6 of 7 voted for somebody. The 7th didn't know me. That was why he didn't vote for me. So, so the humans are always my contact, you know, because I couldn't do system relevant. I couldn't say, you know, I'm an expert, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I can give you a service. I couldn't give you a service, but you can dance with me, and we experience much more and grow together and have an amazing experience of life.
Wow. My notes. You wrote a screenplay.
Yeah,
It's called Dangerous Blood.
yeah.
And you were actually working with Robert Evans
On
on
this,
this
if
for
before he
quite a
passed,
while.
before we passed, we wanted to do this movie, because it's a mixture between love story and fatal attraction. It's almost like he would have been his swan song, you know.
Wow.
And and it's like, yeah, it was interesting, because we want to do it, but I don't mind that we didn't do it. You know what, Calvin? I didn't mind. I had such a good time with him, and he gave me the fact that he chose me to do this. And before he passed, you know, he wasn't dying already. He just said, I want to do it. You know, you don't know when you pass, you know.
Right.
And so he wanted to do it, and that was so enough for me. It was like, I don't have to produce it. I know more that I'm good enough, you know. And that's got me also in this one of oneness, because everybody is a genius, right? You and I agree, every human being is a genius. You just haven't figured it out yet. Or the system, if you're not system relevant, because like me, you don't have an education, you couldn't do the education circle. That's why, you know, but that doesn't mean you're worthless, because nature doesn't make mistakes. That's why nature made us all different, and we have also different life perspectives. So there's a reason of synergistically fitting together. Till, you know, you and I meet, or Evans and I meet. So we meet, and then synergistically we expand both. You know.
Extraordinary. I just think it's extraordinary that you hung around Robert Evans. Um, uh, and it's funny, again, he was always a hero of mine from the work he did. Hey, I watch all the time, Love Story.
Yeah.
You know,
Rosemary's Baby, all this stuff he did. You know.
I watched that. I marveled at his
Yeah.
career, and here we are talking about him, which is kind of neat. Um, it's funny, you call yourself, and I need help with this, even though
Yeah, yeah.
you call yourself a creativity awareness educator.
Mhm,
When I look on LinkedIn
mhm,
and
mhm.
also on your website, which is Michael M, two L's, michaelm.com, correct?
Yep, yep, simple. That's it.
Yep, real simple, which is a great website. So what is a creativity awareness educator?
So through writing these books, I got more and said, how do I call myself? Because I'm one of one. And what is my strength? And I was always fascinated by awareness. I wanted to always know how things work. And I also found out that we have three superpowers. Every one of all the one of ones, humans, we are collective creative species. We are collective creative species. So look at uh, New York, Singapore, Japan, Google, Apple. We are collaborative. It's not Steve Jobs did Apple. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. No, he didn't. He was just the talking head for Apple. But he didn't do Apple because without all the millions of people that help Apple or Google or anything, it's like saying the mayor of New York is New York. No, he's not. He's the talking head of New York, but he's not it, and he didn't create it, and he didn't do anything. He's trying to run it. So that's we are creatives, and I found that the first why we are conscious. I discovered that too by writing about art and stuff. We are conscious. So when I go, so we are in the Neanderthals, and I go and hatch down some wood, and you help me, and you look at that, and a couple of guys, and we build a house, a hut, a very primitive hut. Yeah. Now, the next guy, so we like the hut because it's raining and we're inside. It's cold, we're inside. So the other guy or the other girls can come and say, I'm going to do in our hut too, but I'm going to put windows in it, you know? And so this is to create our own habitats, which is, those are our artworks. I think those are the systems are collective artworks. And when we see it as that, then we will look not as, oh, systems are not good or whatever. No, systems are great. They are collective artwork, but they should be seen as this and not as abusing things to abuse humans, not to just make money and then destroy the system, have wars like all the wars we have now, because the CEO of all these governments cannot run the artwork, basically. So just say, let's make a crazy thing, and then all of a sudden we have war because hey, somebody we have to get rid of all the evidence and just make war. But you're killing humans in between, and 600,000 humans or over 600,000 humans in Russia and Ukraine, uh, and with like 50,000 now in Israel and in Gaza. It's just for what? For what? Tell me. And I wrote 2 white papers on that, also on LinkedIn, about tell me what is the purpose of war. Give me one of these super guys that's so smart than anybody, that are more system relevant than anybody. What's the point of killing humans when humans created the systems? It's not like, oh, the system created the system, so humans, you are out of the decision making. We just destroy the systems because we created you. No. What is the point of creating? And what is the point of forcing you and me and put us in jail if we don't pay our taxes, right? And if so, we are forced to pay for killing other humans in our part of the world. And if we don't do that, we get in jail. So we are forced system. We created something. We created the systems. And now we are submitting to this system, whatever the system is. We get the shiny object syndrome, right? It's so great. that they allow the system to totally disinvalue human beings. How it's like what you anybody that says war is necessary say, oh, you know more than nature? You're more, you are smarter than God in nature? Oh, I didn't know that. That's why I forgot. That's why we need war. No, we don't need war. We are done with war. We are too aware. Perhaps we need war in the Middle Ages, but we don't need war now because we are too aware. If you worry about your sexuality in a system, we are too. If that's a theme, even then we need to be having no wars before. Because if we keep having wars, we can't really be conscious.
Yeah, I think about that every day for years and years and years, war, and I've been an environmentalist since April 22nd, 1970, when I was conscious about the first Earth Day, and it bothered me then, it bothers me now. I keep saying we're one species and we're we're not getting it. And if we don't fix things, we won't have a planet. Which is a nice segue. You and I had some discussions on this. You said something that resonated with me. Let's talk a little bit about, I call it climate stuff. I won't call it climate change out of respect for you. It's climate stuff. And I've read enough about it. I breathe it. I live it. I'm aware of it, and I'm aware of our species. The only thing I care about is our species. I'm not in favor of war. I don't care about politics. I just care about the planet Earth, so that we have a planet. But you said something provocative when we spoke, I think last time. The whole plastic recycling is bogus. And some years ago, I heard and read something that we were shipping, quote, our recycled plastics to China on big barges. And I couldn't process that. America is shipping on barges our recycled plastics, so we weren't recycling them. We were sending them over to China, and then a couple of years ago, China said we don't want it anymore. So I got this sinking feeling, and you can comment on that, that all this recycling is not recycling, it's going into landfills.
Yeah, it does. Because I talked to recycling experts, and they said, yeah, it does. Now they all admit it. They have to admit it because it was proven that only 9% of plastic can be recycled, and 99% of aluminum can be recycled. So aluminum works, but the plastic doesn't work. And there was so much done harm because plastic is so helpful, right? It is so, plastic bag is great. We use it. You cannot even think it away. And I'm not against plastic. I'm just saying, say the truth. And don't let people that want to really save the world and want to be conscious people, that want to be a part of the boat in which we all sitting, and we're doing everything, that are actually aware, the humans that recycle are aware we are all in this together, and we got to do it together. And so we imagine just the energy, the time, the money on systems that was wasted by us segregating the trash, by having all these trash drivers. It makes jobs. Yeah, I agree, it makes jobs, but for nothing. It's like saying, if I paint a painting, and just by painting it, people get fed. Nobody gets fed by me painting a picture. So let's be honest. You can be inspired, but you cannot be fed. And I have heard with the straws, with the other thing, with the plastic straws, right? So first they sell us the straws, and then they say, no, the straws are bad, to sell us the paper thing. And the paper thing is supposedly, some people tested it in a thing. It's really poisonous, the paper straws. And because the paper doesn't, when you put paper in the water, it goes apart. I'm not an expert. I'm just saying what supposedly experts, which I don't call him expert either. It's just, okay, he makes himself an expert in systems. But after the World War, New York, Chicago, and Philadelphia, and all these things, they crashed down all the trash and put it out on barges and dumped it in the sea. And they were, we steel thing, but those steel things are still rusting, or something. And when you see all the plastic in the air, in the sea, it's not from people putting. No human puts. Have you ever seen people throwing something in the thing, especially in the last 10 years? Never have I seen anybody throwing anything into the water. And it comes from that these barges open up now and bring it to the surface. And it was not America only. I don't want to say, oh, that was America. Everybody put it in the sea because, hey, what's gone, we don't see, it's going to go there. And now it comes up, why can't you be honest about this? Look, we make a mistake. We did that and we didn't think about it. And the people that actually decided that are not even alive anymore. So what are we going to do? And then conquer the problem with that. But don't just say, oh, and what I hate so much is always the humans are blamed. So when you get, it's like, yeah, you did this and you go in the CO2, you flying all around. That they promote flying is the enlightenment of everything, and everybody starts flying. Then we think and then said, oh, it's CO2. Now you have to pay again. It's always like you pay and pay and pay, and everything is used, and it gets not better, it gets worse, because we are sold that this is going to free us, this is going to enrich us, this is going to do the right thing. And then, then it's exactly the reverse. So the straws and the stuff that comes up from the barges that we sent for years into the sea is now on the top. And we have to do something with that. And there are solutions, by the way, already. But nobody wants to pay for it. There is solutions, the same as nobody wants to pay, because when people have an income, they protect the income. Because this is then we come to the other thing is the general lack of, it's never enough, no matter what I do. So if you and I make $1,000 each today, tomorrow we have to make $1,500, right? It's never, we cannot just say, I got $1,000. Let's just enjoy and be enough and just live. I'm not saying buying something, just be. No, you can't. You can't. You have to do more.
Yep.
When you get $1 million contract paid, you gotta go from a 3-bedroom to a 5-bedroom. You gotta buy the BMW and sell the BMW and buy a Mercedes. You gotta do always up, and it's never enough. And we can't even think straight anymore.
By the way, you're a rugged individualist. You have no car and you have no TV.
No car. 20 years, no car, no TV. But I love my life. I love my life. I'm not standing for anything other than for humans. I'm not with any party, even though I'm a political consultant. I don't stand for. I'm just me. I'm Michael. That's it. I'm not. Oh, he worked. He did this. Yeah, I say that because there was an experience that I had, and I think it's important that the experience is told. That they say, oh, I had a film diploma and I went there, and then even Evans want me. No. It was just all fell into place.
Right. And I'm a little bit like you in a way. In 1975, I decided no more red meat, no more animals with 4 legs, because I'm a humanitarian, and they have feelings, and also the byproduct of the hamburger industry is methane. Cows eat the grass and they water the grass, and then the methane goes up there and it contributes tremendously to global warming. So I made a commitment. As much as I love the steak and hamburger and hot dogs, I said no more. And so I haven't eaten anything with 4 legs. I qualify that since 1975. So kind of like you. One other thing I read not too long ago that they found plastics in a mother's breast milk for the first
Mhm.
time ever. So what we're doing ain't working.
No,
Uh,
and the
all
better
right.
that, but this is really important in what you say. So they found it in breast milk. Could they find with the technology the plastic in the breast milk 20 years ago? No. See what I mean? The more you know what's in there. So every time you go for a blood test, the more you know. I'm not saying don't get a blood test. I'm just saying the more you know, the more they can sell you to say potentially this can end up cancer. Potentially. When I grew up, literally my mom was operated on. We had a friend that was a top surgeon. And it was on a Sunday, and he came by, and he was a little drinker too. And he had a glass of wine and said, okay, let me see this thing. And my mom had a little growth on the hand. He cut that on the free sky, no anesthesia. He had anesthesia. He shot it in anesthesia, cut it open. We all watched. He cut that out. And it was a growth that you just get out.
Wow.
And he was the head of the thing. He's dead now, but he was the head of the of this clinic. And the stuff is, we make everything so heavy that isn't really heavy. And have I not seen? I would be freaking out about cancer or whatever. And my mom never had cancer. But I'm just telling you, it's just, oh, my mom had also on the breast, she had a growth. And she never, and everybody said, you got to get that out. You got to get that out. And she never got it out. And never saying, I'm not saying that happens to all of them. I'm not generalizing or anything, but I'm saying, you know what's right for you. And if you feel you shouldn't eat meat, and that has to be right for you, not for me. I'm not feeling bad because you don't eat meat and I shouldn't eat meat. No, I love to eat meat. And I don't eat corn, no GMO, because my body doesn't know how to digest it. That's the whole thing. But I wanted to think this in because everybody is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we can always, we need to also say, now we know the scientific, all the stuff with the plastic in the breast milk, like you said. So what can we do to what can we do? We're now conscious. Okay, let's then be conscious about plastics and then really solve the plastic issue. Not just saying, everybody's saying, oh, you're plastic, because nobody has a solution once it's in your body, right? It's just in your body. So why can't we say, let's have meetings all over the world, not big meetings, just little meetings, and let the people express what could we do to keep the plastic where it's supposed to be, and not to because plastic is important. You know that it's important. You can't live without plastic, but keep it where it's supposed to be, and not everywhere else.
Um, an off-topic question I like asking, um, uh, and here it goes. You don't have to answer it, but it's a cute question. So here it goes. Excluding family or friends, somebody living or dead, you'd like to spend a day with.
If there's only one person, the famous. You ask me a famous, not a person.
No, it could be anybody. There's no rules. Anybody, living or dead, excluding family or
I can.
friends.
I know all the people that I know, and I have enough time with them, so I don't feel like I need to. I'm very grateful that I can. A celebrity, which is not really a celebrity, but I think he doesn't even want to be called a same, would be two actually. They asked me recently that question. That's why I know it. I would have to think about it. It's Miles Davis and Rick Rubin. They are both from music, and I wouldn't want to talk about music with them. I would not want to talk to either one about music because Rick Rubin does very similar things with art creation, and that's the awareness, the creativity awareness educator is making people aware, because I know awareness trumps everything, any knowledge or anything. And the creativity awareness educator, because our first superpower is creation. We can create. That's why you cannot create a prison where nobody can escape. It's always one person escapes from a prison. So we are limitless. Humans are limitless. So it would be Rick Rubin, because he wrote that thing, The Creative Act. And yeah, but I wouldn't talk, and I think he wouldn't want to talk to me about music either. It's just yeah. So that it's about what I would talk to you, normal
Sure.
thing, not systemic things.
Sure. Okay, good answer. In doing my research about you and learning, I did watch a podcast where you talk about the octopus movement.
Yeah.
What is the octopus movement?
The octopus movement is, I mean, I must really, Barry Noppert is the Dutch guy, and he was homeless. He lived everywhere. He was in China, and he got so much wisdom, and he's just I dance really well with him too. And he is, and that's his specialty. He can bring people together. And it started more with neurodiversity, and now it's everybody, but all the people that neurodiverse. And I mean, it's brilliant that he said, okay, let's do a white paper. Let's just check out with all these supposedly defunct people that are not doing anything. Let's just do something about AI. Let's just do something about this. Let's have that. And I am a lot with people, companies and top people and whatever. I am, because I know him. I'm not rich, but I know him, and they invite me because they like my different kind of view, my viewpoint from a completely different side. And when I talk to them, it is boring. Everybody is tiptoeing to keep their position. Nobody's saying what they really want to say. There's an elephant in the room and nobody talks about it, which you experienced fully. I mean, I know you, I mean, everybody experienced that. When you try to do a system relevant talk, and in the meetings, when we have these Zoom meetings of 40 people all over the world talking about it, we get it in 1 or 2 hours. He cranks out a white paper that is really good. It's not the top, it's not the bottom, but it's really good. And it's human-centric also. It has a very strong human slant in it. And I love him for that. I love him for doing his own thing. And people say, he needs money. I said, no, I don't need money. It's the awareness that counts. Of course he needs money. Everybody needs money. But I'm saying it's not, I cannot do a grassroots movement with money. It's the awareness that I have to share. It's the making people aware. Once the people are aware, for example, if the gas is too expensive, then a politician comes or a party, and they do nothing else but because when too many people say the gas is too expensive, then they have to act. And they say, okay, we lower. We were the party that lowered the gas taxes. But they get the money from something else because they have to fight wars and all kinds of stuff. So they need the money, So money is a manipulation tool, and awareness is the best thing to counter that. Because once you're aware, you're not taking it so seriously. You're getting out of your fight flight that everybody is in.
I was studying your art. I picked out a couple of things that were easily retrievable. This one, if you want to comment on this, I love this.
Yep.
I love that bathtub.
It's not my tab. It's not my tab. It's not the one that I created. I didn't create any bathtub. I did the photo, the painting.
That's fine.
The painting is called The Flag, because I love flags. I'm a hard edge. I started as a hard edge minimalist, and I love hard contrast, and I love flags because they have hard contrast that you can recognize them. And I did a whole series on these flags. I mean, in every size, in everything, and they're just fascinating. They're so simple, and they're not perfect. You see, do you see the crossing of the lines? They are hand painted. They're not. I didn't try to make it like a flag. I call it the flag.
Right
Yeah,
here.
I call it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I call it the flag, and nothing is really parallel linear. Everything is made by hand. So
I was fascinated by this, and I also picked this up to show
yeah.
that's kind of
Uh,
neat.
They are a lot of Jewish people tell me that is a Jewish sign. Is that is that letter or whatever? And I said no, I didn't think about any ethnicity when I was when I was creating it. It just came to me. This is the flow that I found.
And you also and there's so many layers to you, Michael. You wrote a book, Imagination Micro Paintings. I wanted to show that also.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which
This was a fun project. I wanted to see. I wanted to test myself. See, I wanted to experience. I cannot know because I don't have an education. So I have to experience first and learn from that experience. And I said, I want to try. I had 3 days. That was really weird. I had, it's just always in the universe. Like I had 3 days, nothing to do. I never have nothing to do. I'm always busy. And I said, I want to try 300 paintings in 3 days. I want to just see what happens. And they
wow.
were small. They were not big. They were like this. They were not huge paintings. So I got all my paper, cut the paper in the right size, and I had 300. And then I started, and it was really good. And my thought, this is what our thought versus our experience. My thought would be, if I do 100, okay, perhaps I can force myself to do 150. And then I perhaps I get 200, but I think the last 100, I will fail. I will fail. I will fail. And I must tell you, the hardest was, so the first 3 were easy, 5 were easy. Then it got gooey. And then the next day I woke up, the second day, it was good again. And I was already more in the flow. I was more faster and in the flow. And I said, oh, I know what to do. It just came what I need. Take blue, make a dot, do this, do this. And then at the end, at the last one, which I felt kind of my thought, my belief that it's going to wean out. I'm not going to have enough for 300. And what happened was, it took a little bit longer, but actually my last 50 are the best of the whole series.
Wow.
And this has taught me that when you communicate, and that also taught me what I'm teaching, it's about art creation. That's why art creation, awareness educator, it's about the art creation. It's never about the product. It's never about the product. It's what the most value in art is the creation. And the product is just a symptom of that. So if you think, you get an inspiration. Hey, Calvin, make a podcast, podcast would be great. And so your ego says, no, I can't do it. And so you talk to your non-physical, to all the voices that you have. Your dad would have said this, your mom would have said this. And you talk about this, and the inspiration takes over. Because if the inspiration cannot take over, you're not supposed to do it. And all of a sudden you get that, and so you started a podcast, and it looked different. Then it looked different. And basically the podcast is your representation of your dialogue that you have with your non-physical. That's the thing. And if you look at art, I think that art becomes 30 times more, at least 30% more interesting when you look at this person and his or her non-physical. This comes out of a conversation. I wonder what the conversation would have been. So you look at a Monet and said, I wonder what that image should be, what he was conversing with this thing. Oh, there's so much in, but art industry is not, it's all about the product, and it's like a what's it called? A commodity. It's like just, if people like it, it's like you creating a bike, and if people like it, it's a business. If not, nobody buys it. So that's what art is. And then when people buy it, all of a sudden you are the master artist.
You did say last time we talked that 1% of artists are actually above the poverty level. That's
Yeah.
how hard it is.
Yeah.
Which to me is staggering.
Yeah.
That you I'd venture to say, since I wrote a novel, I'm subscribing to what you just said. Maybe 1% of authors are above the poverty level.
It's in everything. This Calvin, this is really good you asked that question, because it's in everything. I heard that 95% of businesses fail after the third year. 95, because after the third year, there is a cash flow problem. And especially now, where the system with the internet and everything makes it possible that Amazon can do all the work that you could do as a little grocer, and Google and stuff. So it's the having a new idea and doing something is hard. It's really hard to make a business. If I want to make something for money, I wouldn't know. Would you do something? Would you know what to do if you have no money and you want to do something for money? And when you want to play the financial principles, see, everybody says, yeah, I made you millions of dollars, but without money, you cannot make anything. And the reason is that 40% of the workforce of the world, the 40% of the workforce in the world have to live with $6 a day. Now, how much money can you save of $6 a day when it's only you need $6 a day? How much money can you save to actually use the money and play with it? You can make money playing with it, but you have to have money to play with it. Without money, and the problem is that less and less people have money to play with it, because right after COVID, we are in the trillions again with the debit card debt. People don't know what we think. So the financial principles are outdated. And like I say, every system is outdated. I'm not saying bad, outdated, because we grew and we use the systems to suck them dry. So we need to update systems, make it our artwork, and bring in the enoughness that enough has to have a value. If only it's never enough, no matter what I do has value, you get artificially pushed in an imbalance. And in nature, the highest power is balance. So, the nature keeps growing. It gets smarter. The animals get smarter. You see it all over. The animals start talking to people, they're interacting and all this stuff. It's just everybody grows. Plants get smarter. This gets thing. We gotta update the systems. We make when nature updates and we update with it, because we're connected to it. We cannot segregate from nature. Then the system, the habitat that we do, our systems need to be updated too, so that they're doing what we built them to support humans, that they can be one of one, that all can be one of one, not just the ones that are super strong, system relevant. Because system relevant doesn't even mean that you are the most helpful person. It just, you're system relevant. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
I got a million more things, but you know, we have to come back and do more of this
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
chatting because this is great stuff. Real fast. I always like this. Real fast. Favorite movie or two. Real fast.
A Man and a Woman, the French de Lelouch film, and Braveheart. Funny of me is Braveheart. I usually never see any movies more, and these were the only two movies. I only see a movie once. I don't have a draw to go back, and those were the only ones that actually forced me to go back. Like
Wow.
actually, I couldn't even say no. I saw Braveheart like 4 or 5 times, and I saw Man and the Woman 100 times. And
Wow.
I never, not 100 times, not 50 times, but I never want to see a film. I'd still get something out of it, you know?
Wow. Interesting.
Mhm.
I think I mentioned you last time. I'm a Casablanca guy.
Yeah.
I've seen
No, I
it
love that.
over 100 times, and each time I see it, just like you
Yeah.
just said, Michael, I
Yeah.
take something new from it. Yeah.
I I have a question for you. Casablanca or Have or Have Not?
Uh, uh, it's Casablanca, and yet I love tech noir. I think it's such a marvelous art form, and I marvel at tech noir, and I marvel at Casablanca from an artist. I'm not an artist, but
Oh, you are.
just watching the way they use shadows on the
Yeah.
faces,
Me
shadow.
too. But I
Wow.
like Have or Have Not with Bacall and Bogart more than Casablanca.
Yeah.
I because actually that was one of the first when I was young that drew me back because I loved Lauren Bacall, that she was a strong woman. I hate weak women that because they are basically taking what the system says. You guys are weak. I love when women blue and when women are blooming and being strong in themselves. It's and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that Have and Have Not was my favorite. I liked Casablanca very much, but I was Have and Have Not. If I had to choose, Have or Have Not was the would be the choice.
Close, but I'm just a
I
Casablanca guy.
I say the same thing. I'm just
Yeah.
everybody's a one of one. It doesn't matter if you like it or not.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And I've read as much as you can read about the whole process, the making of the movie. The
yeah,
Epstein brothers wrote the script in a matter of days.
yeah.
You're talking about days to write a script like this. And again, watching the direction, the filming, the art, because you're an artist.
Yeah.
Just watching the shadows on Ingrid Bergman's
Yeah.
face, and how
The
that
aesthetics, the
just
aesthetics of
it's just it's like a canvas to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's a canvas, and I marvel at it. And I marvel at the story and
Music, everything, everything fit, everything.
yep,
And the
yep.
thing is, you said 2 hours. Oh my God. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. When the people are in balance, they can crank out something. The Beatles, ask the Stones, ask anybody of that thing. They will tell you, even today, how long did you write that song? 50 minutes. Most people don't say it because when they're open, the stuff comes in. And it comes in and you don't edit it, you don't change it, you just let it go. I mean, that's what Rick Rubin always said. He says, some people say, oh, you made all these people famous. What should I do? Can you listen? And he listened and said, what should I do? He said, leave it. Perfect. It's perfect. Yeah.
And our interview now was perfect.
Yep.
And I thank you. I thank you. There's so much more, but to be continued.
Yeah.
Formally inviting you to come back. We'll come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
just there's a million things we'll talk about. I can't thank you enough
Yep.
for
And
being so
ask
gracious.
me all the questions. Ask me all the questions. Get if your audience has questions, put them in. I'm not a system guy. I don't know how to separate a carburetor, but when it comes to humans, But you were good too. So we're both human centric,
Yeah,
which
this was great.
everybody is one and we're part of nature.
Yep, and human centric, I like that. That's exactly what I am. I'm
Yeah.
human centric. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I did a reading.
Yeah.
A psychic,
Yeah.
a spiritual healer came into my life, similar to where you came into my life, and she did a reading on me. She's great. She Ravel Lorette, and she's in Texas, and she did a reading, and she found stuff in my soul that, I mean, not even my wife of 46 years knew. I mean, buried so deep within, and she picked it out. Anyway, she told me I was 1,200 years old. My soul is
Easily.
and I like that, and I
Yeah.
liked it. And it's funny, and you're like the next interview I did, and it kind of makes sense because
Yep.
you filled me with so much stuff up here, and thoroughly enjoyed listening to you. To be continued.